Could we potentially see Lady D or Jack Baker coming into Dead by Daylight? Let's talk about it. Kings and queens, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and welcome to a little bit of a speculation video that isn't necessarily rooted in too much, but it still provides an interesting theory nonetheless. And in today's video, we're talking about if we potentially could see Lady D, Jack Baker, and other Resident Evil characters coming into the fog. Before we jump on into this, I'm gonna let you guys know that I'm gonna be live right now. I would really appreciate it if you guys came out. Link is in the description. Alright, let's carry on. Recently, we've seen a brand new Resident Evil collection joining the fog with a new skin for Rebecca and Ada, or sorry, not Rebecca, Jill and Ada. On top of that, we also seen a brand new skin for the Blight, and this was William Birkin. Now, this skin was absolutely crazy, and not only did we receive the skin for William Birkin, but we received brand new animations for him. We also received new voice lines for him, and a whole new weapon with different sound effects. It was really cool. So with that being said, it is clear to see, especially since we had two Resident Evil chapters with Dead by Daylight, that they have a really good connection. Resident Evil is giving DBD the freedom to create whatever they want with their characters, and I'm sure at the end of the day they're both making a pretty penny because they keep on doing these collaborations, and obviously the community loves it, or else they wouldn't continue to do that. So that brings across the point. At what point in time do we see someone like Jack Baker or Lady D, some of the characters from 7 and 8, to come into Dead by Daylight itself? I personally think that it's only a matter of time until we see this. I don't necessarily think that we're going to be getting another Resident Evil chapter. I think that'll be a little bit overkill, unless they really think that they could sell another huge Resident Evil chapter, which by the looks of it, they definitely can, considering how much Weskers we've seen. But I think we might see skins coming in for Jack Baker and Lady D. Now, before you jump the gun and you're like, okay, that makes no sense, the powers wouldn't work with any of the killers, etc. Well, that's where the creativity that Resident Evil has been giving Dead by Daylight the freedom to do comes into play. Let's just say, hypothetically, Lady D comes in as a skin for Nemesis. You're gonna get a whole new theme song, new chase music. You're gonna have new animations. Obviously, she's a lot taller, so maybe she'll, go underneath things to walk through things, etc. And that would make a lot of sense. What about the zombies? Well, at this point in time, if they are going to be getting a huge chapter like this or a huge skin like this, they can easily change the zombies that are walking around to different zombies. And instead of being zombies, make them Lady D's daughters. How cool would that be if her daughters are just running around with the bees swarming them or the bugs, and they basically hit you with their weapon rather than hitting them with the zombies' hands? On top of that, with the actual tentacle power, you can change that to anything else in her arsenal. They could even give her some type of weapon that basically has the same range, same stats, same everything, but it's just skinned differently and looks differently with different animations. At that point in time, it makes quite a lot of sense, because now you basically have the same exact power, just reskinned a different way. And it's not too far-fetched, considering they literally did something super similar to that with the Blight. The only thing is, you still kind of had the Blight's syringe, etc. But if you're going to make a skin at this magnitude that could have chapter potential, it could make sense to do something like this. Same thing can be said with Jack Baker. He would probably be a lot easier to make. You can probably skin him on most of the characters and just get him to use their power. Obviously, if he transforms and becomes, this whole mold monster guy, it would be a little bit different. But nonetheless, you still can skin him on anybody, and it could potentially work. This can carry on forward where we can get characters in the game like Lucas or Mia, maybe even Joe, Ethan, but, we don't see his face. Even a skin like for the artist as Miranda, things like that can 100% work. These big skins coming into the game, but not necessarily chapters. And of course, they still can bring these into chapters. The Resident Evil chapters are selling like wildfire. All of the skins are selling so much, and that's why they keep doing these chapters together, because so much people are enjoying and playing these characters. Look, they even made a skin for Feng that is literally just Jill, because there's so much people that play Fang, and so many people have bought this as well. So a Resident Evil chapter either coming out again, or more likely, in my opinion, a skin coming out with some of the more major characters might be making its way into the fog. And if they decide not to fully go for the character, very similar to what they did with Fang, they could just make it as a cosplay. You could see the Plague, for example, cosplaying as a Lady D. You could see any character essentially cosplaying as the Baker family. It just makes a lot of sense, and I don't see why this is something that won't happen. Obviously, if this were to happen, it would come way later in the future. We just received a brand new Resident Evil set, so I don't expect them to bring anything else super soon. Then again, we did receive some cosmetics for December, and then it's already January and received some cosmetics, so who knows? At the end of the day, I personally think that we are going to see Lady D and the Baker family coming into the game just because of how popular it is, how much people have been buying these skins in the past, and at the end of the day, money talks. So it makes sense that they would some way, somehow get their creativity going and make this chapter happen in Dead by Daylight. And that is what I truly believe is going to happen. So to wrap it all up, I think this is a chapter or a creation that is going to happen in due time. And that's basically what I'm basing it on. Just numbers and stats. Money talks, and they have a really good connection as is. So I think that we could see something like that coming in the future. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like down below and subscribe for some more awesome Dead by Daylight content. I would love to hear what you guys think about a Resident Evil, chapter or just collaboration again happening. Is it something that you want? Are you tired of just seeing so much Resident Evil in the game and maybe you don't want it? Or do you just not care and you're just happy for the other Resident Evil fans that are getting these creations if they were to come? Let me know. I would love to hear in the comments down below. Again, we are live on Twitch. Hopefully we'll see you guys there. We've been grinding away, and I would love to have your support. It would mean the world to me. I also want to let you guys know that I have a few cool series on the way. I've been working really hard on them, and the two series are going to be basically a documentary style type of video talking about Dead by Daylight, where my first episode is going to be telling you guys the honest truth and full transparency behind being a fog whisperer. The next one will be on the entirety of the Stranger Things DLC and everything that it's been and done in Dead by Daylight. And my other series is going to be your top moments in Dead by Daylight, kind of like America's Funniest Home Videos, but for your top moments in Dead by Daylight itself. So it should be a lot of fun, and I'm really expecting you guys to enjoy it. So it should be pretty cool, and there'll be some prizes. But my friends, that is pretty much going to do it for me. As always, I'm the king. I tip my crown to you guys, and we'll see you in the fog. Take care.